Hi, I'm Sean Reardon, Mayor of Newburyport, and welcome to the latest edition of the Mayor's Corner. We are back in the office this week for the first time in a while, so we're in the corner office, and let's just get right to it. The big thing that happened this week, obviously, was the Whittier School Project vote, the special election that took place on Tuesday, January 23rd. I've honestly put a lot of time into this, right? I think I've taken these past 5 months and tried to get information out to as many residents as I can, not only here in Newburyport, but I would say throughout the other 11 communities that feed into Whittier. So I'll say I was thrilled with the turnout, especially, my hometown here of Newburyport. I mean, just the staggering numbers. I think people were, I think sometimes when you look at these special elections, you're looking at very low voter turnout, and you are, for something like that, I think they were probably predicting around like 10,000 to 12,000 total votes out of the 120 or so thousand registered voters in the 11 cities and towns. But the fact that we got to a point where we had so many people come out to vote, right? So we ended up getting to a place where we were over 20,000 votes in this election, which I think just blew out anyone's expectations. And it was a pretty resounding, referendum, I think, coming from the voters of what they felt about this project. And I will say, I really don't, I don't think there was any winners in this, right? So we were talking about a school building project, and I think people know how I've struggled with this, speaking out against something I'm so passionate about, and that being education and our kids. But I think at the end of the day, I think there was just too many questions around this really expensive project, $444 million. And the fact that none of these 11 cities and towns who have to pay for it were involved in the process, I think that resonated with, again, everybody across the Northeast here who were involved. And I just kudos to, I'll just say, I do a couple kudos for people who I thought did a good job helping get information out. Really the Daily News, the local paper in Ipswich, the Boston Globe. Shining a light on what was happening here, I thought was just so important. That information night that we did on January 9th here at the Knock Middle School. I had elected officials from 10 out of the 11 communities, right? Everyone but Haverhill sent an elected official that was able to talk directly to residents and voters and talk about, the impacts that this project could have had on their community. So that I will say is one thing I'm very proud of, because I do think, especially after that night, I think that really resonated with people, and they had a chance for their questions to get answered. And I think we just saw that on Election Day. I think, we had such a tight voting day here, starting at 11 a.m. So you missed those before work voters, and then 7 p.m. So, I think it was a lot busier. I think they said 33% here in Newburyport, but I bet you that's really higher if you're looking at really active voters, which is a little bit different than registered voters. So, they said it was probably, more so than my election was a couple years ago, which was around 50%. So that all was very positive, and to see that happen in all the districts for the most part, again, that was good. So I guess what happens next, right? I think that's what we're all asking. I think we've stopped that process. So I'm hoping Whittier got the message from what voters said, and I think the next step for them, I do think they're having a school building meeting, I heard, on Tuesday at Whittier in their auditorium. And so I think myself and the other elected and town officials will try to get to that meeting and listen to hear what they have to say. I do think they'll probably have to go back to the drawing board and decide how they want to proceed. And I do think, at the end of the day, if things are going to change at Whittier and things are going to happen, whether they decide to re-enter the process, which again would take longer, and we've already lost that state money, right? It would take longer for them, but maybe they come back with a more reasonable project. But if they do decide to do renovations, that's going to have to be something that they do with us too, because what that vote did, it allows us to have a little bit more control on the city and town level. Now they'll have to come back to us with a plan of what that renovation looks like. And if it's not something that we feel like we can manage, or it's not a thoughtful process, then we can send that back to them. And I think that was kind of lost in the discussion. But they can't just roll in a bill and have us pay for it, right? They're not a self-funding organization. So again, they would have to go back to cities and towns, and that would have to be approved during the budget season. So again, that will happen around May in our cities and towns here. So again, I'll keep you posted. But again, Like I said, I felt like there was really no winners on Tuesday, but I did really appreciate people trying to get the right information and then actually getting out to vote. Because when you have a vote on a very short time frame with not a lot of great information out there in the dead of winter, right? You've got to have some conviction to get up there and get to the polls, and I think everyone took that very seriously. And again, as far as Newburyport goes, I mean, just incredible, just an incredible turnout. And again, I'll keep you posted, and we'll keep you up to date about how we move forward with Whittier. I will say on our level, we're still working with our legal team, and we're looking at a lot of different things around our relationship with Whittier. I think this highlighted a lot of things around regional vocational schools in general that I think we're going to be paying a lot more closer attention to. And again, I hope we're better partners moving forward. And I will say one of the real great positives that came out of this was our collaboration with the other cities and towns that feed into the Whittier school system. I think that is going to remain, and I think that's going to be really powerful for the region because we are going to look for ways to continue to work together. And again, I think we're going to work, hopefully, with Whittier to come up with some solutions for them. So I'm excited about that. What else is going on in the city? Last Thursday, we had a presentation for the Newburyport Rec Center. That's what we're calling it. It's going to be the home for the Newburyport Recreation and Youth Services Department at 59 Low Street. I thought it was very well attended, which was great. I thought, Kim Turner, my special projects manager, and our department head, Andy Egmont, did a great job, along with the architect, EGA, presenting what the development plans look like. We are at 100% development plans. I believe I'm saying that right. So the next step is we've submitted all this information into the city council packet. So they'll get that on Monday at their city council meeting, and then they'll move that to the community services subcommittee, which is going to be chaired by Councilor Connie Preston this term. So, and I think that's great. So what then is she will set up another meeting of that subcommittee, and we'll do another presentation, I'm going to guess, probably for a council of a whole. And we'll dig into all the numbers, we'll dig into the plan itself, and so that'll be 2 public meetings that we would have had, and then we'll decide where we're at and kind of pick a path forward, because at the end of all this, to get this project done, we're going to need a bond request to help pay for it, and then we're going to need a zoning change for that area, right? And we need 8 votes on both of those. We have 11 city councilors. So, hopefully after this next public meeting, we'll have a better idea about where we stand and how we move forward. But I look forward to working with all of the city council on this, and hopefully we can find a path forward, because I do think everyone was really excited about the presentation that took place last week, and I'm excited for more people to see it. So if you haven't seen it, that is all on the city website. Go to cityof.newburyport.com and look up the project. But it's really well done, and a great job by my team, especially Kim and Andy and the people that they had involved in the process. Really did a great job making sure it's an economically prudent project, but also environmentally friendly. And I mean, there's a lot of things that they looked at to make this an appealing process. And it's all very transparent and the numbers are out there. We got different cost estimates you can look at. And we're already looking for different funding mechanisms too that we can tap into to help, make this project happen. So again, thank you to everybody involved. Last night, a really cool thing happened here at City Hall. We had a high school wrestling match take place upstairs. They called it the Great Debate. And it was the Triton wrestling coach, Sean McGillicuddy, who graduated Triton in 1993, same year I graduated from Newburyport. So I've known Sean a long time. He reached out because they had done this wrestling thing in another town. He just thought it was so cool, and he thought it would be great to do it at the high school. And so last night they had the whole floor of the auditorium was one big wrestling mat. If you want to go to my social media, you'll see some pictures of it. It was also in the Daily News today. One big wrestling mat on the floor with the big circle in the middle. It was Triton's emblem in it. But then everyone sat upstairs to watch it. It was about 200 people here, hooting and hollering. And again, wrestling's neat because it's very quick matches at all these different weight classes. I don't know a ton about wrestling, but it was a lot of fun. So I am hoping we make this an annual event because it was just an awesome venue to have this take place in this great old building, City Hall here in Newburyport. So kudos to the Triton and Pentucket. So just a side note to that, Newburyport doesn't have their own wrestling team. They play for Pentucket. So it was Triton versus Pentucket, 2 great wrestling schools, and it was a lot of fun. So hats off to them. So that's pretty much my Mayor Corner. I'm just going to end on somewhat of a sad note. I wanted to mention 2 great Newburyporters who passed away this week. My first one is Ronnie Goss. Ronnie Goss was a longtime firefighter here in Newburyport, battled cancer, died this week. Not only was Ronnie an awesome firefighter in person, he was a great plumber in the area. I can't tell you the times that he would show up and help me out as a young kid, becoming a father and a homeowner, and I mean, not being very handy. I mean, Ronnie would help you out in a heartbeat. And again, it didn't matter what time of day it was, or weekend, he would be there for you. So he was just that type of guy. And I just know he was so loved in the fire department. And again, as a retired firefighter, he was also very active and around. So just, my thoughts and prayers go out to Ronnie and his family, for Ronnie and his family, and just to all the firefighters. I know Ronnie meant so much to them, especially my Uncle Rick, who worked with Ronnie for many, many years. But I just wanted to mention Ronnie. So he passed away this week. And finally, my Aunt Judy died. I'm going to get emotional. I thought it'd be okay. My Aunt Judy died about 10 days ago now. And Judy suffered from Parkinson's disease, which is just a really horrible disease to watch somebody go through. My grandfather also died, had Parkinson's as well, but it's funny, we didn't watch him go through this disease like we did with my Aunt Judy, so it was really difficult, and I'm so glad she's finally at peace. But Judy was just a great story. Judy was one of the Page girls, right? 4 sisters, my mom being one of them, 2 brothers, Ricky and Bobby. Bobby went on to be an education president at a publishing company, and Ricky's a firefighter, and her sisters were teachers, and did a lot of different things. But Judy's father was the fire chief, and her father-in-law was Bradley Fuller. The track is named after him on Low Street. He was on the school committee for 46 years, 40 of those as vice chair. And so Judy picked her own path. She was a teacher, and she was one of the best Newburyport ever had. 4th grade teacher forever, started at the Brown School, finished, went on to the Belleville, which turned into the Bresnahan. And it's been so nice hearing from so many people that had her as a teacher still, as adults now, saying what an impact she had on their lives. But she just, like all the Page girls, just their laughter is contagious, right? Anywhere they went, you were going to hear them laughing because they just enjoyed being with each other so much and looked out for each other. So like I said, Judy just was so important to me and so important to some people. And, she raised 2 great kids, and my cousin Gretchen and Nate. So again, thoughts out to my whole family, but the people that Judy touched. We're going to do a celebration of her life coming up here on February 9th, I believe, which is a Friday. So keep your eye out for that. But again, 2 great Newburyporters who definitely made their mark here in Newburyport and affected a lot of people's lives for the better. And they're going to be sadly, sadly missed. And that's my Mayor's Corner this week. I hope everyone has a great week, and I will see you all next time on the Mayor's Corner.